All right. So excited. Such exciting times. Things have been going amazingly well with this build that I've been working on here with the transporter guys. In this video, we're going to be talking about the sequencer. That is basically what this is. It's a sequencer. And it all started with the timing unit I showed you in the previous video. I believe it was in the previous video. We were talking about timing is everything. And with just a basic understanding of building a timing unit where you can control the duration of something happening, alright? You can start to sequence those durations and have stuff happen in whatever order you want. So please, this information is so important. Stay tuned and I will show you how this works in the easiest way possible. And don't worry, we're not going to get into the boring logic gate, this does happening, the reasoning, understanding stuff. No, you don't. What works for me are the results. Once I start seeing how patterns are arranged and it gives me the desirable result, having to define logic gates becomes less important, and starting to use logic gates becomes more intuitive. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. This episode is going to rock. Alright, welcome back. I keep coming back to my clock. Because using sensors and controllers was how I did it. It was how I did things for a very long time. You would place the sensor somewhere on a moving stick, and then when that sensor would trigger something along the line of that stick or rotation, your event would happen. And that's how you would sequence things. You would sequence stuff with mechanical motions. Now I get it though. And you're going to get it too, because it's not that hard once you start building on the very basic component of the timer. All right, the logic gates, they're honestly important, but you don't need to fully grasp a logic gate for it to be useful to you. Okay, this is how the timer works, and the reason I'm going over it again is because it's really important. This is the basics of it before you can do this here. All right, complicated looking stuff. It's actually way more complicated than it needs to be. Let me drop that ship in the background. All right, it's just this stuff here. Before you could do this, you need to understand this. And if you understand this, then this starts to become intuitive for you to want to do. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be like, oh yeah, I know what I want to do. Just like stacking one block on top of another. In an analog sense, you will be stacking one gate on a timer on top of another in a digital sense, and it won't be that painful. So let me walk you through it slowly. Okay, all the stuff in the background is so distracting here. I don't want to make it harder for you guys. I want to make it easier. So let me move this beast. All right. And let me move some of this background stuff here because, whoa, slow down there, Pilgrim. Here, you could rock it into that wall there for now. It'll cancel out in a second. Clear out all the background clutter. Most important thing for you to do. Clear out, see someone else is working on a breadboard style layout. This layout here was not my idea. This is an electronics breadboard layout, and it translates so good to this because you're able to see better how all your connections are going and how they're flowing, and it just makes it easier for you to understand what's going on. And so let's go back to the basic timer. All right, you need And I realized I was using NOR and XNOR. You don't need to use those. You could just use a NAD. And on this one, you just put an XNOR. Okay? And you connect the switch, I believe, if I remember correctly, there. And let me cheat. The switch goes, actually no, I was using timers here, but basically, okay, I remember now. Switch to that one, switch to that one. There we go, boom, boom, boom. Make a happy face. Alright? And the switch goes to these two. And if you want something to happen for a duration, you set however long that duration is going to be. For the sake of an example, we're going to make a 5-second event here. And you'll see this light is on for 5 seconds. And that means that that is your output. And you would connect your output to, say, a light bulb or a thruster or anything you want. And every time you toggle, that light will turn on for however many seconds you set your timer here. And this will work during a charging phase, which I like to call. This is it charging up. And during a discharging phase. Same result here. It'll light up for 5 seconds because it takes 5 seconds for a timer to charge, 5 seconds for a timer to discharge. Forgive me, it's not general. It takes however many seconds you set it to for that event to take place. Alright. Based on this, just this basic idea, alright? Once you got it, you got it. You only need to get it once. Then you could start to sequence events, alright? So you're probably thinking, Chief, okay, maybe I could get this, but this stuff over here, this looks way too complicated. I'm already giving up. Don't give up on me, guys. Don't give up. Look, all we're doing here is we want this event, okay? This timing event to happen at a certain time. Just like with our controllers here. How we could set up things to happen one after another because the controller uses these steps here to illustrate when one thing will happen next and after one after another. We could do that digitally. The difference between this here and all this stuff over here is I'll walk you through it. The switch now has a timer between it. And the reason I put a timer between it is all it does is it delays what happens in the process. I'll show you here real quick. Let me move the switch over, okay? Let me put my timer right here. This is my delay timer. So that now, okay, I can't weld it together. I have to, okay. And then that one, I believe that one again, okay. So this is an event that takes place over a certain amount of time, which is 5 seconds. I may not want this event to happen right now. I may want it to happen 5 or 6 seconds after maybe, I don't know, something else happens. So in order for that to happen, there needs to be a delay to this whole sequence here. So if I wanted this 5-second interval to happen 2 seconds later, I would turn this one to 2 seconds, then turn it on, and after 2 seconds here, that light will turn on for 5 seconds. These are the basic building blocks. 5 seconds, right? Yes. That light will turn on for 5 seconds. And then again, boom, after 2 seconds here, this light will turn on for 5 seconds. All you do is rinse, wash, repeat. Now, for my firing sequence, for my fire control sequence for my vehicle, all I did was build 4 more of these because I organized it according to the events I wanted to happen. And let me list those events to you now. The first event that I wanted was for my raw units to kick in, to stabilize the vehicle, super-like. And the raw unit is those 2 black blocks and that controller right there. Controller flips it around, activates the raw unit. So then My vehicle is super stabilized. The next thing I want to happen is this thruster here to kick on. Excuse me. The thruster is the lifting thruster that will lift the vehicle off the ground. The next thing I want to happen is for my main impulse thrusters to kick in and send my vehicle down range. This is going to be happening while my lifting thrusters are on, because the vehicle needs to be lifted off the ground while that's happening. The next thing I want to happen while these two, while the first lifting thruster is still on and my raw stabilizer still on, I want my main impulse thrusters to cut off, and I want my reverse thrusters to kick in to slow down my vehicle. And after my initial braking thrust, I want my lifting thrusters to shut off to drop my vehicle down, boop, and then my raw units turn off to complete the entire sequence of events for my vehicle. So here's how I figured it out. This one is just a relay so I could keep all my cabling nice and even so you guys could see, but you actually don't need the first timer. You could just run it directly to your inputs up there, but it just looks cleaner this way. So a timer can be a relay also, just like I said, for illustrative purposes to help you guys understand better. So first timer set to 0. Next timer is because that I want that event to happen instantly. The next timer set to 1 second. Next timer set to 2 seconds. And the bottom timer is set to 10 seconds. Alright? Because this is what's going to kick in my reverse thrusters, and my reverse thrusters are going to kick in 10 seconds after the initial flight. All these different... The reason why the top is 18 seconds long is because this entire event is going to take place over a period of 18 seconds. The next thing, my lifting thrusters, is going to be the second longest event, which is going to happen after my raw units kick in to lift up my vehicle. It's going to be 15 seconds. The next thing's 8 seconds, and the last thing is 4 seconds, which is going to be that initial reverse braking thrust. So let's play it out. I turn on my vehicle. My raw unit kicks in. Right after it kicks in, my lifting thrusters, and then my vehicle's taking off with my main impulse thrust. Lastly, my reverse thrusters kick in to slow it down. Then it drops my vehicle as my lifting thrusters drop it, and then my raw unit turns off. Done. How exciting is that? And all I did was base this sequence on understanding the basic timing unit here. So guys, this is another update on how my cargo unit is coming along. Very exciting. And it doesn't just have to be a cargo unit. I've been getting so many awesome responses from you guys saying you could turn it into like a train unit or use it to haul people, not just cargo. And this is part of automating everything, guys. This is part of the sequencing events. And all you really need to do is understand this basic component. So keep dreaming, keep building, and I hope you guys are able to follow along with me and get the hang of it. If not, I'll answer your questions in the comments, but I gotta go. I got to edit this stuff up and make it available. Yeah. Alright guys, take care.